What's going on, guys? Destiny 2 has become quite large recently with Witch Queen dropping. I see a lot of new Guardians out there playing the video game, and I see a lot of posts on Reddit of people just not knowing of what to do with certain guns, certain armor, and they're getting flamed in Find a Fire teams of how to play, and they just don't know what to do. So today, I wanted to give you guys 5 of the most important things that I wish I knew before playing Destiny 2 and spending hundreds and hundreds of hours in the game. Definitely a lot of wasted time here and lost potential. Definitely deleted plenty of guns that I wish I had to this day, and definitely deleted lots of exotics and high stat rolled armor. So I'm going to be covering all of that today on what you should know before spending hundreds of hours in Destiny 2. So just before I jump into this video, guys, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like. I'm starting to do more Destiny 2 content on my channel as it is one of my most favorite games. So if you want to see more videos and you want to see me dive into more Destiny 2 topics, consider subscribing and drop a comment down below of what you would like to see. But anyway, enough of me rambling on, let's get into the video. Destiny 2 has a tremendous amount of weapons to choose from to customize your arsenal, and these weapons are your #1 source of power, so making sure that you have the best perks possible on these weapons is very important. Now, for as many guns there are in the game, there is just as many perks and attachments to put on each weapon throughout the game. Now, personally for myself, I definitely used to struggle with knowing which gun, is the best to use, which one. I'm getting 4 or 5 of the exact same gun drop, which one should I use? But now I've sort of got a hold of that, and I've sort of understand what perks I'm looking out for, and that's what I'm trying to do for you today. So I'm going to try and give you, a sort of little heads up so that you guys can understand which perks you want on which guns, so that you do not delete those gold rolls and misplace those gold roll weapons. Now, because there are so many perks in the game, one specific weapon can be used in a multiple variety of activities in Destiny 2. You could have one gun roll with the amount of perks so that you can use that for strikes. You could roll it with different perks where it is, its best possible performance in high-end activities, or it could even roll for a god roll PvP weapon. It's just incredible about how many perks and different setups that you can run with the exact same gun. So because of this, I'm going to just stick to PvE specific weapon attachments for now, and if you guys want to see some more videos about PvP related or high-end content weapons, let me know in the comments down below and I could sort something out. So to make this as simple and effective as possible, I'm going to summarize each gun into a sort of category. So you're going to have guns like the submachine gun and the assault rifle in the same category. They're both sort of, high fire rate weapons. They're going to be looking for similar perks. And I'm going to put scout rifles and hand cannons, separately, because they obviously need different perks. I think if I was to label every single gun and attachment, it would take me multiple hours. So I'm just going to summarize this as quick and as easy as possible. So first up, we're going to start with submachine guns, assault rifles, and LMGs. All 3 of these are sort of high fire rate, consistent damage output weapons, and most of these you're going to want matching weapon perks as each other. So for this category, I believe there are 4 most important, in my opinion, perks that you want to be looking out for on these type of weapons. So basically what we're going to be looking out for is perks like Subsistence, Frenzy, Demolitionist, and Overflow. I believe these 4 are the most important perks and the best perks for this type of weapon. So the 2 perks, Subsistence and Overflow, the basis summary of these is going to be that as you shoot, you're going to get more bullets back. And Overflow, when you pick up other ammo types, it's going to overflow that magazine to a substantial amount of extra bullets. And perks like Frenzy and Demolitionist, Frenzy is going to make you do increased damage the longer you're in combat, and Demolitionist is going to grant you grenade energy on every kill. So basically what this does is you combo most of these together, you're going to have extra bullets, and with those extra bullets, you're going to either increase your damage or gain extra ability charge. So coming in next, we have scout rifles and hand cannons. Both of these are semi-automatic fire, and most of these you're going to want to look for similar perks in these 2. So the 4 most important perks that you're going to want to look out for, in my opinion, are Rapid Hit, Explosive Payload, Firefly, and Outlaw. So with both of these guns, you're going to be wanting hitting headshots, and this is going to make, with these perks, make those reloads much faster and increase a little bit more output damage with Firefly and things like Explosive Payload. Now, if you got any bows dropping, you're going to be wanting to look out for Archer's Tempo, Successful Warm-Up, and Explosive Head. Very great perks to reduce that draw speed and do a little bit of extra damage with Explosive Head. Snipers and Linear Fusion Rifles, we can summarize these together. You're going to want to look for things like Triple Tap, Vorpal, High Impact Reserves, and Firing Line. These perks are going to increase that damage output of these weapons and also give you more ammo like Triple Tap. And for rocket launchers, you're going to be wanting to look for perks like Explosive Light, Auto-Loading Holster, Cluster Bomb, and Clown Cartridge. All of these are going to give you extra ammo in each mag or bonus damage on direct hits on ads and bosses. So like I said earlier, there are so many perks and different setups that you can run in the game. So I just wanted to give you a basic idea of some perks to look out for. Like I said, if you have any of these perks on a gun that you drop, jump into Google or jump onto YouTube and search that weapon up. I can guarantee you there will be a build out there that will give you a full rundown of that gun and what the best perks are for that gun. Obviously, I can't fit every gun in the game in one video, so I just wanted to give you a basis, quick outline of what you want to be looking out for. Now, coming up as the second most important thing in Destiny 2, in my opinion, is armor. And in particular, high stat rolled armor that you want to be looking out for. Every time I do activities with other Finder Guardians, I see a lot of players out there that have very, very average stat distribution for their Guardian. I would argue that is almost a must to have at least 100 stats in one particular, if not at least 2 100 stat rolled on a set of armor. Now to some, this may seem a bit daunting and they might think it's going to take a lot of grinding to be able to get this double 100 stat armors. However, it is not that hard. I've done it on all 3 of my characters, and it is very, very easy. You just have to know exactly what you're going to want to be looking out for, and that's what I'm here for. So depending on how much you play Destiny, you'll be getting armor all the time. And the best way to get high stat rolled armor is to do higher level activities, things like Nightfalls and the dungeons and even the raids. This is where you're going to get that high stat rolled armor that you want to be looking for. Now, do not quote me, but I believe the highest legitimate recorded stat rolled armor is 68 on a chest piece somewhere on Reddit. Now, this was a very, very rare chance, so don't be playing Destiny hoping to get a 68 stat roll piece of armor. It's just not going to happen. I would say anything stat rolled over 62 is good, and anything over 64 is considered very good, and you definitely want to keep that as long as it has a good distribution of stats on that piece of armor. Now, what I mean by that is depending on what sort of build that you are going for and what abilities you want to use, you might want extra discipline and strength, or you might want extra resilience and intellect, whatever you may need with your build. You want to be looking for extra little boosts in that specific slot in the armor. So as you can see, I've been pretty lucky with my armor, and on my boots and chest piece specifically, they are spiking in intellect and recovery. And in my opinion, for a warlock, intellect and recovery, you must have at the highest stat rated as possible. On my setups, I have 100 recovery and 100 intellect, and then the other ones I have as high as possible. If you play a hunter, I definitely believe that mobility you want to have maxed out to as high as possible. And with a Titan, I believe intellect and recovery is also your most important. These are the 2 most important stats in my opinion. Like I said, depending on what build you're going for, that can vary for your setup. So if you get any armor that drops above 64, I would definitely recommend masterworking this piece of armor and throwing some stat boosts on this armor and playing around and trying to get that 100 stats, if not 2 100 stats. In order to get 2 100 stats, you're going to need some very good spikes. Just like my armor, as you can see, I've got 30 and 30 in one piece of armor, and the same on my chest piece. This is very lucky, and this is what you're going to be wanting to look out for in order to get 2 100 stat armors. If you want more specifics, like I said, drop a comment down below of what you would like to see more specifically, and I can dive deeper into that topic. So coming up next, I'm going to start talking about mods on each armor. For the longest of time in Destiny, I just could not be bothered to modify my armor and put different mods on for different activities. But once I actually started to care and definitely gave it a try, it drastically improved how much easier and how much better I got at the game. And mods are definitely one of the most important aspects that you have to take advantage of in Destiny 2. Now, just like the weapons in Destiny, there is an enormous amount of mods that you can obtain throughout playing Destiny 2 just by playing the game and looting engrams and whatnot. You will slowly but gradually obtain most of the mods that the game has to offer, not to mention the ones that you can buy from the vendors each week. So keep an eye out and make sure you're going A1 and buying those mods that you do not have if she's selling them. But without specifically spending hours and hours talking about mods and which ones to use in your loadouts, depending on what the seasonal artifact is offering for this season or that season, that is going to be probably what the meta is of that season. So for this season, because they dropped Void 3.0, a lot of the mods that are going around that is sort of the meta this season is Volatile Flow and Void Wells, and everything to do with generating Void Wells. And this is going to be probably your go-to mods this season, is using Volatile Flow, Elemental Armaments, Explosive Well Maker. All that is going to be your go-to this season. However, when you're doing that high-end content like the Raid, Grandmaster Nightfalls, just all that stuff that is high end game activities, a lot of those mods are going to change depending on the specific build that you are using for that high-end content. Now, most of the time for these high-end content, the mods that you're going to want to be used is going to be charged with light, and everything to do with being charged with light, as this is going to give you damage buffs, damage reduction, more mobility, just going to give you that fighting edge to make sure you get through those high-end content activities. So I definitely recommend that you look out and make sure that you are using the right mods for the activities that you are using. Like I said with the other roles, if you want to see exactly what mods to use depending on what activity, let me know below and I can delve deeper and create a whole video on mods. Now, depending on what build you want to go with, that is going to go hand in hand with what mods you use. So my next point is choosing which build is best for you and how you want to play Destiny 2 with your friends. Now, because there is a huge variety of subclasses to use and specific trees in that subclass, mods and weapons, everything, you can choose exactly what mods and how the build you want to work. If you want to create a build where you have endless grenades, you can do that. If you want to create a build where you have endless supers, you can do that. If you want to have endless class abilities and melees, you can do that. There's so many different builds and strategies that you can work off, and there's plenty of videos and guides out there that you can watch to learn up and choose how you want to play the game depending on the character you have chosen. I know I definitely get bored of playing Destiny and just constantly shooting and shooting and shooting all the time, just killing things. So a good way to spice the game up is to try a different build and try different things, and it makes the game a lot more enjoyable and definitely doesn't feel as repetitive as Destiny can feel sometimes. For the Warlocks, my most recent video, I created a healer build where you sort of just play the healer of the team and all your main focus to do is just to keep your friends alive. It's very fun, so check that video out if you haven't already. There's plenty of builds out there that you can try. There's Stasis Hunter builds, Stasis Warlock builds, there's Invincible Titan builds. It's really up to you exactly how you want to play the game. So I definitely recommend trying different builds out. Now, my final point that I want to make is do not delete everything that you get. You get a lot of items in Destiny, endless amounts of engrams and loot, legendary drops all the time from completing activities. They incorporated a vault into the tower for a reason. If you get a high stat rolled armor and you're not sure if you should keep it or not, you know, you think, oh, this one might be a little bit better, I'm gonna delete this one. Do not do that. If you get a gun that you think might have a decent roll, just throw it in the vault and hang on to it for a rainy day. You'll never know if you might need it, and if you don't, there's endless amounts of spots in the vault. I really highly doubt you're gonna fill it up. I have endless amounts of loot in there that I've never used, and I still haven't even touched the surface on how full my vault is. If you're thinking to yourself, you know, maybe I should keep this gun, or maybe I shouldn't delete it, if you're thinking that, there is a high possibility that this gun will definitely treat you well in a certain circumstance somewhere throughout your Destiny lifetime. However, try and not be a hoarder. No one likes a hoarder, and it becomes a massive problem when your vault actually becomes full and you have to go through and delete hundreds and hundreds of legendaries. It's not fun, trust me, I've done it before. But that basically sums it up, guys. Those are the 5 most important things that I wish I knew before I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in Destiny. I don't even want to imagine how many god roll guns and high stat armor rolls that I've deleted in the past just because I wasn't sure or I couldn't be bothered figuring it out. If you guys enjoyed this video, send it to your Destiny 2 friends if they are also unsure on some of these topics, or if you think this video would be helpful to them. But if you've got this far in the video, thank you for watching, and consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. Only if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing and smash that like button. But anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Later.